if you have a Chrysler Pacifica 2017 and up, and you're hearing some kind of clunking or the ride in the back has got them really rough, it's likely that you're going to need new shocks. Now, if you're going to take a look over here, well, the bottom part is real easy because you can get to it. The bottom bolt is back here. In fact, there's the other side of it. Real easy to get to. But then you're looking here and like, well, where's the other part? And you think at first maybe you're gonna have to go on the inside, but you can't go on the inside. Completely covered up. Well, don't worry. Everything's behind this felt-like material. So we're gonna have to take off a bunch of these nuts here, and I'm gonna show you what tools you're gonna need. The first tool you're going to need, or sockets really, is you're going to need a 19mm socket to take the tire off. Then you're going to need a size 21 for the bottom nut at the bottom of the shock. You're going to need an 18mm socket for the two top bolts. You're going to need a spare 21 to grab the back side of the bottom bolt. And then you're going to need an 8mm and a 10mm to take all the nuts and screws that hold the felt on. It's really not that bad, especially if you have power tools, but you can get it done. Okay, we are going to begin by taking all of these plastic nuts right off of this felt. It's going to be a 10mm, but listen, they're plastic. So you're going to want to get on it all the way down before you start to loosen it. And if, like I said, if you have power tools, it makes it a lot quicker. Now, there are several of these. You're going to have to look around. And you're going to want to take off near about every one of these that you can find. Sometimes the plastic nuts get stuck on your socket. Get on there. Get a good bite, because if you don't, you can cause it to strip out, and then you're going to have issues. Now, that is all of the 10mm ones. By the way, why would anybody move to Florida? The gnats are ridiculous. Gnats, mosquitoes, alligators, anything that can eat you. Okay, that's my little rant. Now we got these. These are 8mm. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So let's start here. Now on this driver's side, all of the screws are right here. I said there's 6 of them. On the passenger side, there's like 4 or 5 of them, and they're in different locations. So just don't be surprised by that. So let's go ahead and remove this felt, because you can't do anything while it's there. And in fact, I didn't remove a screw down here. They normally seize up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it off from this side and just pull it to the side. So, and you'll be surprised what might be behind here. Now take care not to rip anything. It's on there pretty good. Come on. And that's all we really need to do to get to our bolts. There's these are two 18mm bolts on the top of the shock. They come off real easy. There's some thread sealing on there, Loctite of some type. I'm not going to worry about putting those back on. I'm just going to make sure they're torqued down pretty good. So those are the two, and that will just slide off. All right, now we're going to go down to the bottom and remove the 121mm bolt. We are at the bottom of the strut now. Here is the 21mm nut that I'm going to use my deep socket impact wrench to break loose. And then on this side is where I'm going to take my other 21mm socket, and I'm going to hold this side with that. This side's going to do all the work. Now you can do it the other way. I just choose to do it this way. There's my 21mm nut, and I can push this out. Now the strut is loose, and I'll go ahead and pull it up from the top. All right, let me get out of my little house. Now at first, this doesn't seem like it's bad. Now we noticed in that long trip it was kind of rough back there. I'm going to push down on this. it doesn't come back up. It should come back up. Now let me go ahead and show you the difference on a new shock that I got. I bought this from Rock Auto. They're not paying me anything to do it. Now watch this. Comes right back up. That's why the ride in the back was just so rough. Here's installing a new one, real simple. Notice that notch right here. There's going to be these 2 screws or studs sticking out. So that's just going to help you line it up. We're going to put it down in here and put it right up against it. Now, if you have some Loctite handy, you can put some on here. I'm not going to worry about it. Just going to make sure it's torqued down nice and snug. Okay, and then let me get my tool. Okay, here we go. And then on this side. Okay, top's installed. Now we're going to do the bottom. Now, you're just going to have to use some mite, or you can get a small jack to push up on this. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this bolt in. Just get it in there. And I'm going to push this up. And then run the bolt through. And there. Now all I have to do is tighten on it. And there's my 21 on the front. Make sure you got your, if you're using a socket on the back, make sure the wrench turned the right way. And here we go. And just go till it stops turning. So let's put this felt back on. Here we go. Okay, when you go to put this back on, take your time because you don't want to rip it. It does a pretty good job what it's designed to do. I would place it on as many of these studs as you possibly can to begin with. Now, what is going on up here? Okay, that stud is, there it is. I had to move it around so I got it in place. There's another opening. There's one there. There's another. Just get them all lined up before you start putting the nuts on, because if you don't, you're going to have a hard time getting them on there. Go ahead and put these on by hand to start with. Then you can take a tool, or you can just keep going manually and put these on. Now, once you have all your plastic nuts on there and your 6 or 7 screws, then it's time to put the wheel on, take the jack out from underneath it, and then you're ready to ride. Mailman Mechanic, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you a thing. It helps me a bunch. See you at the mailbox.